Hello, so just wanted to do a little bit of a video to kind of wrap up the whole Sarah's off on a photography adventure kind of playlist, or kind of like the whole that chapter really, in terms of going away on the narrowboat and doing the Four Counties Ring. So this morning I've just put a little slideshow on the YouTube channel, or some of my pictures on there. I haven't put them all on there because it would be maybe a little bit boring if you've got to sit through them all, but just put a little bit of a selection to give you a bit of a feel of the pictures that I was taking. Now at the very beginning, before I was going away, when I was packing my camera bag and all that kind of thing, I talked about some of the lenses and things that I took. So what did I actually really use when I went away? Well, I did use the 50mm on my Canon a lot. That's it's a, I think it's a 1.8 f1.8. It's you know, fairly just bulk standard 50mm lens. I used that a lot. I also used my macro, 100mm macro, not necessarily just for macro, but as giving me a bit longer length. I tend to use that. Sometimes if I was going for a bit of a wander, I would have that and the 50mm. I'd have those two with me because they're, you know, I can fit them in a fairly small bag. It's quite easy, and then I can sort of like chop and change. So the macro lets me get in a lot closer if I get those details like the rusty metal, that kind of thing, and gives me a little bit more length on the 50. But the 50 is good all round, kind of like for scenery and all sorts of things. It does give me a nice amount of blur in the background if I'm working quite close. You can't get too close with that one. That's always the one that limits. That's the thing that limits me with that lens. I want to be in closer than I can be. So those are probably my favourite two lenses, and I use those a lot. On the boat, when I used to sit at the front of the boat and sometimes stand at the back with Jeremy, I would generally have the 400mm lens on there, and that is just because it gave me. It meant I could do some like people shots. I could do things like the herons, and you know, keep an eye out for wildlife and different things, which, you know, meant that it just got me in a bit closer. Okay, I did take with me the 2x converter, but I didn't use that. On that, it doubles the length of the lens, but on the one I've got, it means you have to focus manually, and because we were all moving, then I didn't really feel like I wanted to do that. So yeah, so those are the ones I used most. I took the wide angle lens, but I didn't use it. I think I perhaps used it a couple of times and thought, no, I didn't, you know, it's whether it's that lens or just that kind of style that it gives me, I'm not such a fan of it. I prefer to be on the 50mm and stand further back. My wide angle lens, I've had it quite a long time. It's not a particularly high quality one. It's been sent off to be repaired once, at least once, but it doesn't get used a lot. Yeah, so I didn't tend to use that one so much. So those are the three lenses that, you know, if I was going to do that trip again, I would take those with me, absolutely, without a doubt, because they gave me nice flexibility. So that was good. I did do, and I've still got, actually, I still need to print them off. I started doing the journal thing, and then I thought, I'll print those, but leave gaps and I'll print those pictures. So I kind of need to sit down and sort of tidy that up and finish that off, so it's kind of a finished thing. I found it was, to start with, we kind of made ourselves do it, and then I think we got a bit tired, or you know, the dogs were sort of wanting to go out or want to do this, and sort of sitting down and actually sort of printing all the pictures for it off my phone. I didn't do as I went, so I did them sort of every couple of days, but I've still got some I need to print off. But I have put all of the photos and videos from my phone and all my camera pictures, they're all in one folder, Four Counties Ring folder, and then it's sort of divided up. So you've got like week 1, week 2, week 3 in terms of the camera. The phone stuff's all in phone folder, and then sort of the videos and like things for YouTube are all in there too. So I've got them all in one place, and then I'll back that up in a couple of places, so I've got that somewhere else. My next job is to create the photo book for it, so that I've got that for me, you know, as a personal sort of record, because that's nice. And again, it'll probably be, you know, be a bit mixture of the highlights in the highlight reel. So you've got the phone photos, and you've got some sort of my pictures, my favourite images from the trip. So it'll have a bit of a mixture of those kind of things. So that's something that I still got to do. I keep saying I'm going to do it, and I have to do it. I really do want to do it, but it's having the time just to sit down and just sort of, you know, get on with that. So that's sort of almost top of the list now in terms of wrapping up that trip, if you like. So yeah, it was absolutely amazing. I don't know whether anything I'd do differently. I don't know. I think we were quite right in that the first few days were quite stressful in terms of settling into boat life, particularly with 3 dogs. It's not an easy trip to do with 3 dogs. It'd be easier with 1, but I love them all to bits, and I was really glad that they were all there. Yeah, those first few days to settle in, and really having to work quite hard at telling myself, no, you don't need to take pictures these first few days. You've got a long time to do it. Whereas if we were just away for like 5 days or a week, the pressure would have been on a little bit, and I think that would have been a bit stressful. So yeah, it was hectic the first few days, and then we kind of settled into it. And I got into the habit of having my camera ready and knowing you start to get a feel for the sorts of things you're going to see and what you might like to see. So things like with the kingfisher, I think I got that on the last day or something like that. I did think to myself this week, I'd seen a kingfisher at the water point when I'd been on the land, and I thought, well, I would really like to get a picture of a kingfisher whilst I'm on the trip. So kind of like, because we did sort of see them. But I was thinking about this morning, kind of like in terms of trying to photograph things like kingfishers, I don't make it very easy for myself because I'm sat on the front of a boat that's moving along. Okay, it's not moving very fast, but it's like 4 miles an hour. It's like walking pace. You wouldn't try and take a picture of a kingfisher whilst walking at the same time as walking. So I was just having a bit of a chuckle about that this morning, thinking it's quite funny when you think of it that way. Would I actually put a 400mm lens on my camera, walk along and try and take a picture at the same time? I probably wouldn't. But yeah, so yeah, but I was glad I got a picture of a kingfisher. It was like, yes, it might not be, the most amazing. If you compare that picture with other people's kingfisher pictures where they've been sat in a hide and they picked a day when the light is nice and that kind of thing, it doesn't perhaps match up with that kind of thing. But in terms of me personally, for having seen kingfishers on the trip, to actually having a picture of a kingfisher to go in my album and stuff like that, then I'm over the moon with that. So yeah, it's keeping a bit of perspective. But yeah, it was absolutely amazing. Would I like to do it again? Yes. I don't even have to think about that. Would I do another narrowboat trip? Yes, definitely. And I don't know, but yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Maybe done whether it'll be next year or the year after or in the future sometime. Hopefully, we'll do a trip. Do another trip, but it was really good for me to be able to take pictures every day, but also trying to watch that balance in my mind, whereas it didn't feel like I had to take pictures every day. There wasn't that pressure. But yeah, so it was fantastic, and yeah, I will get that photo book created, but I've put the slideshow on there on YouTube today, so you can check that out. If you haven't seen the highlights one with the little videos and photos from my phone, that really gives you a really good feel of the trip, and that is just that reminds me, when I watch that, it reminds me of the trip. So that is a good one to do. But hopefully it has inspired you, whether you're going away for a day, a week, a month, whatever, if you're that lucky, or anywhere. If you're going anywhere, if it's just a day out somewhere, hopefully the videos have inspired you and given you some ideas on how you can perhaps approach it in terms of taking pictures, and also showing that using your phone for videos and photos is as important as using your camera in terms of capturing those kind of memories of something like that. But yeah, if you've got questions about anything that I do, then you can always send me a message, or you can email Sarah@sarahloveland.com, and I shall speak to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.